Okay folks, here's a quick review of the 12-inch scale 2014 Godzilla figure that was produced by NECA as part of their Godzilla line of figures. Oddly enough, I found this figure at Walmart as opposed to Toys R Us, which is where I normally see NECA figures for sale. And I found that to be surprising because I've never seen a NECA figure for sale at my local Walmart until I found this figure. Also of note, this review is my first time reviewing a NECA figure outside of their Predator line, so this is a bit of uncharted territory for me in this video. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see the latest Godzilla film in the theater this past summer, but I am looking forward to seeing it on Blu-ray later on this month, as I enjoyed watching a lot of the Godzilla films when I was growing up back in the 70s. Okay, there was a bit of assembly required on this figure. Part of his tail was unassembled in the package. Putting the tail together was a little troublesome, so I advise caution putting the tail together, as the ball joint does look to be a bit on the fragile side. And if you're not careful, you could easily break the ball joint. It should be noted that even though this figure is advertised as being in 12-inch scale, it stands about 6.5 inches high. The 12-inch scale comes from measuring the figure from the top of its head to the end of the tail. Okay, the articulation joints moved very smoothly right out of packaging. Godzilla has articulation in the head, elbows, the wrists, the diaphragm, the hips, the knees, the ankle, and the tail. The neck has 2 points of articulation. The wrists spin 360 degrees with slight up and down movement. The tail has 4 different points of articulation. The feet move up and down, and there is also some ankle pivot. There is also jaw articulation that allows you to pose Godzilla's mouth either open or closed. And I was surprised to see that his tongue had some detailing on it as well. So, I have to admit that I was pleasantly surprised at the number of posing options that were included with this figure. Also, it's worth noting that the spikes run the entire length of Godzilla's back. Those are made of a soft rubber as opposed to rigid plastic. Okay, paint apps were okay for the most part. The only problem that I spotted was in the jaw area where the white of his teeth overlap the left side of his jaw, and that gives it it's a somewhat skewed and distracting appearance. So let me pause here, zoom in, and I'm going to give you a closer look as to what Godzilla looks like. Okay. Okay, what I also wanted to do was give you guys a close-up of what the mouth detail looks like on this figure. And as you can see, it really does look quite good, don't you think? Alright, Godzilla didn't come with any accessories, so what I'm going to do now is a quick 360 of him for you and let you see what he looks like from all sides. There was no figure stand included, but the tail seems to balance the figure on a flat surface very nicely. So I personally don't see the necessity of using a figure stand with this figure. However, there are peg holes in the feet, so you do have the option of using a figure stand with this figure if you so choose. Okay, here's a shot of Godzilla from the left-hand side, and as you can see, once again, the detailing on this figure, it looks just incredible. And I'm very pleased with it. Okay, here's a shot of Godzilla from the rear. Okay, here's a shot of Godzilla once again from the right-hand side. Okay, here's a shot of Godzilla facing forward. And finally, here we are once again from our starting point. So overall, I have to say that I like this Godzilla figure quite a bit. The articulation joints move smoothly, and aside from the paint application error in the jawline on my figure, it displays very nicely. So therefore, this Godzilla figure, it gets a great recommendation from me. This would make an excellent shelf display, or possibly you could use this in a setting such as an office cubicle, as it's definitely ideal for a Godzilla fan to have on their desk due to its scale and its overall appearance, which I think is just great. Okay, so on that note, take care and stay tuned for my next review. Have a good one.